Welcome, folks, to another thrilling episode, to the latest episode of Retail Roller Coaster, the show that dives deep into the ever-changing world of retail giants. And today, we're focusing on none other than Walmart, where the only thing dropping faster than prices seems to be jobs. Yes, jobs. Walmart just announced, and this is a big one. It's cutting nearly 1,500 jobs. That's a significant number. And these aren't your average cashiers, but tech, e-commerce, and advertising roles. The very departments you'd expect to be thriving in today's digital age. All this as part of a restructuring, they say. The official line is to streamline operations, to make things more efficient. And if that's not enough to make you raise an eyebrow, brace yourself. Because Walmart is also warning that prices on everyday essentials, the things you buy week in and week out, are about to rise. Meaning your grocery bill is about to get a little bit bigger. And they're blaming it, at least in part, on those ever-controversial tariffs on Chinese imports. The trade war continues to impact your wallet. And remember, this isn't their first round of layoffs this year, making some wonder about the long-term strategy. To top it all off, a nationwide boycott is brewing, fueled by these very decisions, adding even more pressure on the retail giant. It's a perfect storm: job cuts, price hikes, and public backlash simmering and ready to boil over, all at once. A trifecta of trouble. So what's behind this retail chaos? What's causing all this turmoil at Walmart? Let's start with the magical and often frustrating world of tariffs. Buckle up, your shopping cart is about to get a lot heavier, and not in a good way. Fun. Tariffs. Sounds boring, doesn't it? Like something only economists and politicians need to worry about. But they're the hidden gremlins, the sneaky little culprits behind rising prices. They're quietly turning your everyday shopping list into a luxury wish list, making you think twice about those seemingly small purchases. So what exactly is a tariff? Well, simply put, a tariff is just a tax on imported goods. It's a fee added to the price of items coming into the country, meant to make those foreign products pricier, and in theory, boost domestic sales by making local goods more competitive. The idea is to encourage consumers to buy products made within the country, supporting local businesses and jobs. Now, the US and China have been locked in a rather intense tariff war for years, a back-and-forth battle of economic maneuvering. Each side has been slapping taxes on the other's goods, escalating tensions and impacting global trade flows. These tariffs cover a wide range of products, from electronics and machinery to agricultural goods and consumer items. But here's the catch, the part that often gets overlooked. When these tariffs are imposed, companies like Walmart, Target, and other major retailers are the ones who initially pay those tariffs, not China, as some might assume. And those costs, those added expenses, don't just magically disappear into thin air. They have to go somewhere. Think about it. When Walmart imports electronics like TVs, smartphones, or laptops, or clothes, textiles, and shoes from China, tariffs add a hefty bill, a significant increase to their import costs. These are costs that are simply too big, too substantial, for even a giant like Walmart to absorb entirely. In fact, their CFO openly admits that the tariff increases are more than any retailer, regardless of their size or market power, can realistically absorb without making some changes. So what happens then? Where does all that extra cost go? Well, the extra costs inevitably trickle down the complex supply chain, impacting each stage of the process. Ultimately, it ends up landing squarely on you, the everyday shopper, the consumer at the checkout counter. Suddenly, that toaster you need costs as much as a small appliance should never cost, leaving you wondering what happened. That's the not-so-magic and often frustrating reality of tariffs in action. And, unfortunately, with ongoing trade tensions and evolving global economics, it's a situation that's only projected to get worse before it gets better. When Walmart hints at price hikes, you can bet politicians will chime in, loudly. Former President Trump blasted Walmart on Truth Social, demanding they eat the tariffs instead of passing costs to customers. His take: Walmart made billions, so they should just absorb the hit. But most economists and Walmart say tariffs are paid by US importers and ultimately consumers. It's a political tug of war: absorb the costs and anger shareholders, or raise prices and face public outrage. Meanwhile, US-China trade talks are stalled, and the tariff drama isn't ending soon. For now, your grocery bill is caught in the crossfire. The Thunderdome rages on. And the stakes? Your wallet. So what's Walmart's official stance on all of this economic turmoil? What are they saying publicly about the pressures they're facing and the decisions they're making? They're just trying to survive, navigating a complex and ever-changing landscape. They're positioning themselves as a company doing its best to weather the storm and continue serving its customers. A storm not of their own making. They claim to be victims of larger economic forces. Caught in the crossfire of global trade disputes and market fluctuations, tariffs, they say, are a massive new expense, a significant financial burden that's impacting their bottom line in a major way. Too big to absorb, even for them. Even a retail giant like Walmart, with its vast resources and economies of scale, is feeling the pinch. They've tried to cut costs elsewhere, looking for efficiencies and streamlining operations to offset the impact of these tariffs. But when tariffs hit hard, creating significant economic pressure, some of that pain gets passed to shoppers. Ultimately, the consumer ends up bearing some of the burden through slightly increased prices on everyday goods. As for the 1,500 job cuts, the elephant in the room, Walmart claims it's about strategic restructuring, a necessary adjustment to stay competitive in a rapidly evolving market. Not tariffs, they insist. Just aligning with new business priorities, adapting to the changing needs of their customers and the demands of the modern retail landscape. But let's be real, rising costs in one area, whether due to tariffs, supply chain disruptions, or other factors, often mean cuts in another. It's a delicate balancing act, and sometimes difficult decisions have to be made. Whether it's tariffs or tech upgrades, investments in automation, or responses to changing consumer habits, the result is the same: higher prices, even if only incrementally, and fewer jobs, as companies look for ways to streamline and automate their operations. It's all part of the same economic squeeze, a complex web of interconnected factors that are impacting businesses and consumers alike. For employees and shoppers, the people who are most directly affected by these changes, the outcome is uncertainty, a feeling of unease about the future and what it holds, and a lighter wallet. Every dollar counts, and when prices creep up, it puts a strain on already tight budgets. The game is rigged, it often feels like, and everyone's feeling it. From the corporate boardroom to the checkout line, the impact of these economic forces is undeniable. Welcome to the new normal, a world of constant change, economic uncertainty, and the ever-present pressure to adapt and survive. Walmart's woes aren't unique. They're just the biggest headline. Tariffs and trade tensions ripple across the economy, hitting tech giants like Apple and HP, who warn of higher costs and lower profits. If parts from China get pricier, your next phone or laptop will too. Even US farmers are caught in the crossfire, facing retaliatory tariffs and pleading for government help. Tariffs aren't just abstract policy, they hit real people, from Silicon Valley to the Midwest. When Walmart raises prices or cuts jobs, it signals trouble for everyone. Companies everywhere are scrambling to adapt, cut costs, and brace for uncertainty. The global economy is a giant Jenga tower. Pull out the wrong block, and everyone feels the shake. CEOs are sweating, and so are shoppers. The storm is far from over. Let's get personal. This all lands right in your wallet. When companies face higher import costs, they have three choices: eat the loss, squeeze suppliers, or raise prices. Guess which one happens most? You pay more. Tariffs on steel, electronics, or even bunny slippers mean higher prices at checkout. Walmart's CFO says they can't absorb these costs, so your grocery bill climbs. For families already stretched thin, every price hike stings. It's not just about money. Fewer choices and lower quality can follow as retailers scramble for cheaper alternatives. The always low prices promise is fading fast. Trade wars may sound distant, but you feel them every time you shop. Your wallet is the real battleground. As if tariffs and layoffs weren't enough, retailers now face a new threat: consumer boycotts turbocharged by social media. Walmart is in the crosshairs with organized campaigns urging shoppers to stay away over issues like DEI and ESG policies. Companies are stuck. Take a stand and risk backlash, or stay silent and risk a different backlash. Social media can turn a misstep viral in hours, hitting sales and reputation hard. For retailers already struggling with economic headwinds, this is a nightmare scenario. Now, companies are judged not just on price, but on values and ethics. For Walmart, it's a high-wire act with no safety net. The stakes have never been higher. Walmart's troubles are just one thread in a tangled web of global drama. US-China tensions are rising, with arms sales to Taiwan, and new taxes on tech giants adding fuel to the fire. Every new trade barrier or tax makes life harder for companies relying on global supply chains. Legal battles over tariffs add even more uncertainty. Rules can change overnight. For Walmart, it's like steering a ship through a hurricane, never knowing where the next wave will hit. The global economy is volatile, and every move in Washington or Beijing sends shockwaves worldwide. Planning ahead? Nearly impossible. For now, companies and consumers are just trying to stay afloat. The storm shows no sign of clearing. So, what's next for workers and shoppers? More uncertainty, higher prices, and constant change. Job security is shaky, especially in retail and tech, as companies restructure to survive. Shoppers will keep feeling the pinch. Expect your grocery bill to keep climbing. Trade wars and social activism could reshape what's on store shelves too. The retail landscape is shifting and everyone needs to adapt, workers, companies, and consumers alike. The hope? Eventually, things stabilize. Until then, brace yourself for a bumpy ride down the aisles, the only guarantee surprises at checkout.